everybody. Today we will be doing a science experiment. This experiment will be where you mix baking soda and vinegar together and see if the reaction is like a volcano. The big question is, does baking soda added with vinegar cause a chemical reaction like a volcano when mixed? My hypothesis is baking soda added to vinegar will cause a volcano-like reaction. Now over to Patrick, our master in chemistry, to talk a little bit about our materials that we are using.
Thanks, Brenna. I'm going to talk to you guys about the chemistry of this reaction. We're going to be using baking soda and vinegar for the reaction. Baking soda consists mainly of sodium bicarbonate, which is made of one sodium atom and one hydrogen atom, as well as carbonate, which is a polyatomic ion. The polyatomic ion has 2 extra electrons in its molecular structure that it needs to get rid of to be put into an equation. Hydrogen can take one of those electrons, and so can sodium. So they do, and that makes baking soda. For vinegar, it's made mainly out of acetic acid, which has 1 carbon atom, 4 hydrogen atoms, and 2 oxygen atoms. Those atoms combine together to make acetic acid and balance themselves. Acetic acid is a liquid solution, which is the base ingredient of vinegar. When the actual reaction takes place, it's a kind of a reaction that's a combustion reaction. And what we know about combustion reactions is that 100% of the time, all the time, every single time you do it, it will always have H2O and CO2 as a product of the reaction. So knowing that, we can put our solid sodium bicarbonate and our liquid acetic acid on the as the reactants in the equation. And those will yield, already, we can put CO2 and H2O on the other side as a gas and a liquid, respectively. And so, by taking the carbon, 2 oxygens for the CO2 from the reactant side of the equation, and then the 2 hydrogens and another oxygen from the reactant side of the equation, we're left with the byproducts from the reactant side of the equation, which go over to the products side as a sodium ion and an acetate ion. Now both of these are dissolved within one another to make an aqueous solution, which means that something is dissolved in another something. This solution should make a foam as the carbon dioxide gas is trying to release into the atmosphere from the container that it is in. And this foam should bubble up and go everywhere as the carbon dioxide escapes. And this is the foam that you should see in the reaction.
Now that we heard a little bit about our materials, let's hop right into our experiment. The materials you'll need to follow along are 1/4 a cup, 1/3 a cup, baking soda, vinegar, a funnel, and any cup of any size, but has to have a hole in the top. For our first experiment, we'll be putting 2/3 of vinegar and 1/4 of baking soda. We're going to pour 1/4 of baking soda. We went a little over, but that's okay. Count, pour it in. We may have to give the funnel a little shake. 2/3 of vinegar. Time for the magic to happen.
Whoa!
Now this is the time when you have more vinegar than baking soda. For our second experiment, we'll be putting 1/4 of vinegar and 2/3 of baking soda. 2/3 of baking soda. 1, 2. Now give the funnel a little shake. Now it's time for 1/4 of vinegar. Let's let the magic appear. as much, but still pretty good. For our third experiment, we'll be putting 1/3 of vinegar and 1/3 of baking soda. I had to put on a mask because I was breathing in a couple pieces of baking soda. Magic! Oh, I want to touch it. It's foamy. The first experiment with 2/3 of vinegar and 1/4 of baking soda went the highest. The second experiment with 2/3 of baking soda and 1/4 of vinegar went the shortest. See you next time. Remember, tomorrow's Crazy Hat Sock Day. I'm Brenna signing off.